trying to touch the... Oh, sorry. We're sniffing
Yes.
Sixth pit.
Well, what we need to do is get everybody real close. So why don't you come in here a little bit, and we'll just get all kind of in as much as we can, and kind of buddy around the microphone, and that'll work.
Buddy around the microphone.
The interesting thing about this show is that we're actually, for the most part, videotaping the radio program. So we're not really worried about the cameras very much. So you can kind of disregard and
Okay.
not worry about the cameras. And we'll just talk a little bit. I'll have you all introduce yourselves and give me your names so I don't. And we'll take it from there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is Michael Marsolek. Welcome to Musician Spotlight, and it's my great pleasure to have the CWACS from Wyoming on the program tonight. And tell everybody what that stands for.
That's the Central Wyoming A cappella Chamber Singers.
The Central Wyoming A cappella Chamber Singers are here in Missoula as part of the International Choral Festival, and it's a great pleasure to have you on the program. I've got a small representation of the entire group with me for this portion, but it's a great chance to have you here. And tell me how this group came about. You all are singers and that have come together to do some music together. How did that happen?
Well, we started 3 years ago. We all sing in another choir of about 50 voices, and we decided that we wanted to start a small group that would sight read a lot of literature and do a really wide variety of things. With a group of 12 to 15, it's easier to do vocal jazz and some pop tunes and things than with a choir of 50. And we wanted to explore a whole bunch of different music, and that's why we got started. And we've been going ever since.
It was a lot of fun. I'm a great fan of a cappella music and have done quite a bit of singing myself, and some small ensembles, quartets kind of things, and a couple different choirs. And it's something I've always really, really enjoyed. You, this evening, actually played to a thunderous applause and numerous ovations.
Very kind audience.
And
Wonderful.
very well received as part of this festival, and it's great. Now, why don't you introduce yourselves so that we know who you all are?
Well, my name is Eddie Amend. I live in Riverton, Wyoming, formerly with the University of Wyoming. Now retired and having a blast.
All right.
My name's Kathy Lemons, and I'm a homemaker in Lander, a professional mom.
My name is Chris Hayes. I formerly owned a retail store in Lander, and right now I'm kind of cruising for the summer.
All right.
My name is Robert Husa, and I am the non-director of the choir. And I teach at Central Wyoming College in Riverton, Wyoming.
And I'm Patty Husa. I'm a kindergarten teacher in Lander.
All right. Well, it's great to see you all coming together to do such a wonderful variety of music. And I think, you led to, said something about the ability of a smaller group to do different kinds of things. And you've done, at least in your performance that I heard so far, have done a great variety of things. And I'm kind of curious about how your influences and how how did this selection of music happen? Is it a consensus, or does somebody come with a group and say, with a piece of music and say, hey, let's do this? Or?
Well, we do it's kind of by hook and by crook, a lot of it. We sometimes we find things at reading sessions for choir teachers, of course, and that's one way. The glad tunes that we did tonight were suggested by one of our singers who unfortunately can't be here with us this week, Tim Hugas. And Tim came into the rehearsal one night and said, "Do you know this group?" "No." "Boy, I wonder if we could get some of their arrangements. Here, listen to this CD and see if you can get some of the arrangements." And we listened to it, and we were just captivated by the arrangements because they're so much fun. And people bring tunes into the choir occasionally, and we read a bunch of things, and then we say, nah, we don't like that, and we throw it out, and we try something else.
And it's a real diverse group. We all have our own thing that we really like, and within that, we bring that to the group, and it either flies or it doesn't, but that's another way we have such a wide selection of tunes. It's because there are so many interests.
We also changed, or we programmed specifically, because the audiences that we sing to are really diverse, in that when we do performances, a regular 90-minute show where we do 30 pieces of music, we do our first part, we do madrigals and sacred literature and kind of standard octavo things, and we do lighter things in the second half usually. And the audience, we've been trying to cater to everyone in the audience, so that people who are well versed in music and want to hear Mozart or something like that, we try to put something in there for them, and we try to put silly things in for people who like silly things and all kinds of things. And I'm the vocal jazz nut. I like that, and I always bring in these vocal jazz tunes and say, well, we need to try this one. And there's one of our favorite tunes that we're not doing this week is 2 English anthems in the Episcopal tradition from the 17th century that we really like. That we just happen to
Really suits our group while
yeah,
we're voicing.
Yeah, and we do when we were trying to pick out literature, things gel well, and we say, well, we like this. We probably have 10 or 15 tunes that we've attempted to do, and we say, no, it doesn't work. We don't. We just throw them out and do something else.
Well, what you've kept in the repertoire so far is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
thanks.
It's
Thank you.
really nice to hear you. The blend is really great, and you have that ability, I think, even as a small group. I think you're touring now with a dozen of you here at the festival, but I understand there's a few more back home that couldn't make the trip.
Right.
But even with a small group, you've got a wonderfully well-rounded, warm sound. Really nice. I mean, it sounds like a bigger group when you wanted to, I think.
One of the things that we do in our rehearsal is that we rehearse almost all the time in a circle. There is no conductor. We self-rehearse, so everybody has an opportunity to stop the choir. Sometimes we stop more than we sing. Sometimes
We visit a lot, too.
we visit a lot, and we laugh, and we eat a lot.
Another
yeah, we
thing that's
eat.
unique about our rehearsal and our choir as a whole is that we're not stuck on a part. I don't always sing soprano or alto or tenor or bass, but we move around, and it's whatever's needed and whatever works best. So it's a real flexible group. It's real fun that way.
The voicing helps. All of the women in the choir can sing soprano. And so it's very nice because we can say, who wants to sing these high notes? And then the next tune, that person may not be doing that. And so it gives people a rest. It also, from a practical standpoint, because we work with the idea of people doing lots of different parts, like for doing this show, we had to do quite a bit of line substitutions. You have to sing this, and nobody worries about that. They say, oh, there's a part missing, I'll do that. It's not like, well, I can't do that.
I didn't learn that.
I'm a tenor.
an alto.
I'm a bass. That helps a lot. And it's a lot more flexible that way.
Mike, you asked a question about the composition of the group. I'd like to go back and comment on that a little bit. One reason we think we have a little bit of flexibility is because this group was set up by auditions. And Bob mentioned he's head of the vocal music department at Central Wyoming College. So we operate under the auspices of Central Wyoming College, but it's a small community, and it serves the larger area of Fremont County, Wyoming. So when it came time to see if we could make this group fly, Bob announced auditions, and people from the main communities of Riverton and Lander auditioned, as well as people who may not necessarily live in either one of those towns. So it's truly a community effort. And that process, we think, has surfaced some of the voices that can fit and can pick up music and can read and substitute parts. So the flexibility and the balance, I think, partly are explained by the auditioning process and the very concept of putting together a group that is able to do a variety of music, which we enjoy trying.
That's great. How long have you been in existence? How long have you been
3
together?
years, hasn't it been?
3.
The other neat thing is that I think that we're all really good friends. We have a retreat before the year starts, and we all closet ourselves on a weekend, and we sing. We mostly eat, but we
That is
sing,
true.
and we're friends more as well as singers on the stage, and I think that shows in our performance a lot.
I think that one of the things that's very nice, we had a comment tonight from one of the other singers about the fact that there were people missing, and I really miss those people. I don't necessarily miss their voices, I miss them more, and it's important to us when someone is ill, you know, we all, what's wrong, you know, why can't they be here, and that kind of thing, and we really agonized over coming here because we knew right up front that we would not have everyone.
And there's such a commitment. I mean, when we're talking about doing a concert, we basically, I mean, unless it's 100%, it doesn't fly. So this was difficult to come here.
There's a lot of shared responsibility. Eddie is the manager of the choir. Kathy does a lot of the rehearsal things. She keeps track of what we rehearse. After we get tunes in the book, I don't plan the rehearsal at all. I just show up. You know, in other choirs, I have to plan, you know, what are we going to do and how much time. We come in, Debbie Smalley, our newest member, has been in the choir for a month and had to learn 35 tunes. Mm-hmm. And we would say, okay, Debbie, call the next tune. You tell us what you want to rehearse. Well, I need to do this, or let's do that one again, or whatever. And so that's really nice. Everybody has an opportunity to add to the choir. Well, let's try this. Let's slow it down here. One of the things we did tonight in Witness. Who did that? Who was the one who came up with that idea?
Somebody.
Let's start this. Yeah, so we don't even remember. Let's sing this part slow.
With a little different arrangement.
And we did that like 2 rehearsals ago. You know, we try a variety of things, and it's been that's fun to do. The other thing is that when it's all a cappella, we have so much more flexibility. We don't need a piano. We don't need anything. We like to have risers, but we don't have to have them. We don't need stage lighting. We don't need anything except a little bit of space, and that's been to our great advantage many times when we've performed.
You can break into song spontaneously.
That's
Oh,
right.
you bet.
It's-
Anywhere.
We often do.
That's important because in Wyoming we have some really wonderful performance places, great theaters. The theater at our school is near perfect acoustics. It's 950 seats. It's got wonderful lighting, everything. But there are places in Wyoming where the performance place is the Grange Hall, you know, and so it's been really, it's good to have that kind of thing because it doesn't work for every kind of choir. You know, they have to have a piano or they have to have a lot of space or whatever. That's what's been kind of fun. We just kind of just do it.
It sounds like one big happy family.
Interesting that you said that because a gentleman came up afterwards and wanted to know how we were related. And I said, well, there's a husband and wife and then another husband and wife, but we're not related. And he goes, oh, come on. He really believed we were related. We were starting to look alike or something. I don't know.
We've been together
But
a long
now it is kind of like family, I guess. But he felt that and recognized that in us, so.
Yeah, we run a risk, Mike, of looking or sounding exclusive. We don't mean to be that way at all. As an example, the interview process or the auditioning process, Patty mentioned the commitment. One of the uses that Mr. Husa makes of this group is to move college students through it. Some of the select voices that he can fit into the group. And of course, as they sing with us and mature and graduate and leave college, they're gone. That leaves a hole. And we had such a hole last fall with a young man who graduated and left the community. Well, then in the auditioning process, we had another young man who was a great bass. We wanted him, and he would have made a nice addition to the group. But he knew the commitment that was required, and the job and his family circumstances prevented him from making that kind of commitment. So he said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. We appreciated his honesty, and as it's turned out over the months that have passed, he has indeed been promoted in his company, has gone on, left the community. But I think the people around the two communities of Lander and Riverton, and the larger community served by Central Wyoming College, recognizes this commitment of this group. Because we've all sort of said, hey, this is number one. If it's going to work, everybody has to commit and get with it. So we do.
Well, you've obviously made a great commitment, not only to each other, but to the music that you choose to sing, and it's great to hear you. Tell me about just a few thoughts, perhaps, on what it's like to come to Missoula for the International Choral Festival.
Oh, what a rush.
Wonderful.
It's been great. We felt really bad today at the dinner because we didn't have any dance to teach the Botswanans. Everybody, all we could think of was the hokey pokey. So we thought we've got to get with that.
Yeah.
Right.
We sang a performance in Portland this spring, and one of the Missoula Mendelssohn Club members heard us, and he was the person, his name is Greg Devlin. He's a financial consultant here in Missoula. He heard us and got us invited to the festival, and we were just amazed that we were able to be invited. And then when we got the roster of who was going to be here, we were driving up a few days ago, and I was looking at the roster. I was going, we're singing with all these people, you know, and it's so exciting to be a part of. This festival is just something that Missoula has to know is extremely important for the city and for the community, because when you bring people in for this kind of a performance sharing, it's non-competitive. It's all, you know, you have people of different cultures and different languages singing and dancing and hugging each other. That's very important, I think, in our very turbulent times.
And it really touches your heart when you go to the fairground and you're sitting there eating dinner with people from Puerto Rico and people from Salem, Oregon, and people from Botswana and Vienna and Holland. I mean, it's really moving, and it's absolutely phenomenal to be here.
Well, and I think you're right in that it is a step in the right direction of building a greater sense of community among all the people of the world. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's the little things like this. I like to think that a little festival, and this by some standards in Missoula is certainly a small festival, but it has a great sense of world cooperation and of world inclusion. And this is the third time actually this year, and in past years there's been choirs from amazing places. I can remember, here's something to share with you, back in 1990, I believe it was 1990's festival, the Baltic Republic Lithuanian choir, after announcing their independence as a country weeks before, stands up in front of the masses at the Saturday night concert and sings the Lithuanian anthem. And the entire place was like in tears. It was an amazing thing. And to think that, you know, this kind of sharing happens and people from all over the world, it's a fun thing.
That's right.
We hope that it will continue, and we hope that the International Choral Festival can be recognized for what it is. We have been treated like royalty, and the
organization
hosts,
is wonderful.
the hosts, you know, do you have what do you need? Well, we need this. Okay. You know, I mean, they're just wonderful about getting things for people and trying to take care of just an enormous amount of problems, you know, that crop up with 800 singers, and
They
the
do a
majority
beautiful job.
who don't speak English have some real problems trying to negotiate things, and getting everyone together and doing this is just a wonderful thing. We hope that it continues, and we certainly hope we can come back.
Well, you're holding your own from the United States of Wyoming. It's my great pleasure to have on the program tonight the CWACS, the Central Wyoming A Cappella Chamber Singers. And thank you all for joining me on the program, and we look forward to hearing some more music.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. It's a wrap.
I love this.
Well,
Does
thanks,
it explode here?
T-minus, no, that's just telling that the 20-minute tape is about out, so
Oh, okay.
Good.
Good.
Hope that did it.
that's great.
So
Okay.
tomorrow at 4.
At 4, we'll be there. 500 North Higgins.
Okay.
500 North Higgins.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for staying late.
Thank you, Mike.